To welcome everyone to the UOnline session for our Masters in Data Analytics and Program Evaluation, and then also our certificate programs in the same field. We will be going through the programs this evening. We have a wonderful faculty member who will help us answer any questions. So thank you all for joining us. We have a couple of housekeeping items to go over. I guess first I should introduce myself. My name is Brett Levesque. I am the Executive Director of Enrollment with UOnline at the University of Miami. So again, nice to meet you all. Thank you all for being here. This session is going to be about 45 minutes in length, probably a little bit shorter. If for some reason you need to leave early, a recording will be emailed to you. So that is not a problem at all. We want to be respectful of your time. If you have any questions throughout the session, please utilize the chat function, and one of us will be able to answer any questions that you might have. If there's something that we're unable to answer or unable to get to, one of our enrollment team will reach out to you after the session and make sure that that question is answered. You can also reach out to our enrollment team at any point at 800-411-2290. Or visit our website for a live chat session. So again, welcome. And I would like to introduce our guest. Her name is Dr. An. She is the Vice Dean of the School of Education and our Program Director. So Dr. An, if you'd like to introduce yourself and give a little background.
So thank you, Brad, and hello, everybody. Hopefully, this is evening in Miami, so I will say good evening, but maybe some of you might be morning, might be afternoon. So hello, everybody. My name is Suyan, and Brett said the Dr. Suyan An. You can just call me Suyan, and my name has a great meaning, so everybody need to just call me Suyan. That's totally fine. And at the school, I am serving as a vice dean, and I'm overseeing graduate studies and research and academic affairs and online program. At the same time, my primary role is a professor, which means I am teaching all the statistical classes in the University of Miami for many master's and PhD students from multiple disciplines. At the same time, I am program director for the research measurement evaluation. We have in-person PhD programs, so I'm also directing our programs as professor and program directors at the research measurement evaluation program. And we do statistics and we do psychometrics, and we also work with the data. That's all about me. So nice to meet you, everybody. And I have been in University of Miami for 16 years, and I didn't even know I'm going to stay here this long, but still I'm here. And I will be really happy to see you guys soon as a person, through the online or in person. That's my hope with you guys.
Great. Thanks, Dr. An. You have me beat. I've only been here for 6, coming up on 7 years. So 16 is quite a while.
It is, isn't it?
So have a couple questions for you to go through just about the program. Again, feel free if you're listening in to chat in with any follow-up questions or any questions that you might have. So to start off with, can you talk a little bit about the curriculum of the Masters in Data Analytics and what the content actually covers?
Sure. So maybe I'm going to starting with the basic curriculum that we can think about. So no matter what you are going with, because these master programs are based upon 2 stackable certificates that you can choose, and you can start light, and if you like one, maybe you can just go for master program. So no matter what track you guys will go to, the core will be, the first one is, getting the prediction modeling done, which is a quantitative analysis too. And this one will get you foundation. This one gets you more familiar with how you can work with any data set you are having it. And from that one, you can go with either one track, which is a statistical data analytics certificate track, or you can also go to program evaluation track, or you can merge them together. So track 1, which is statistical data analytics certificate track, is working with mostly numbers, although we'll be doing some other strings variable, but this is more about the statistic. It's about applied multivariate statistics and programming using some some software. And then we'll be getting into something that everybody are so excited about, which is machine learning using Python. And that's one statistical track. And then the other track that you will be working on will be program evaluation and quality research and text analysis, which is mostly based upon other information type, which can be people's conversation, people's perception, people's interview data, or looking at how the program is working. Once you are having these 7 cores, the one that you will be getting into is more about the capstone project, which means using whatever data you are having, try to solve the problem that you are having from your own, issues or your own organizations or your own, phenomenon or disciplines that you will be doing projects, which will be design based. And then the other one will be analysis. So there's a whole set of 10 programs all together from the beginning to the foundation up to the findings of what you are having it with your project. So those are all, classes together. So you can go with the track 1 with the 4 classes. You can go with the track 2 with the 4 classes, having 2 certificates. Once you feel like you're good with it, adding 3 more, you can also go to the master program in data analytics.
Great. Thank you for that description. And that's a really, really helpful for students who are maybe not ready to commit to a full master's program.
Sure.
They do have the option to start in one of our certificate programs, and that certificate program will completely transfer into the master's when they continue on, or if they decide to continue on.
That's correct.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So one of the questions that students a lot of times have is about career options. So somebody who's focusing on or who completes this program, what kind of career options would they have?
So this is a master program. So many of you guys right after your bachelor program and with a couple of work experiences, you're thinking to go for more advanced degree, which can be PhD program, which can be EDD program. So you can also pursue some advanced degree, which in PhD and EDD, it can be psychology, it can be public health, it can be education, it can be sociology, anything that will work on any data issues, any phenomenon that you're interested in. That's one path that you can go with it. And the other path that you can think about is from your work experiences. You're working on the data every day, but you know what to do with it, but you might want to do a little bit of a different advancement in your workplaces based upon this master program that you can go and do more advanced data analytics that you can work on in an organization, which can be private and which can be nonprofit, which can be institutions, it can be universities. So in one example, in the university, you are having institutional research using a lot of student data and making the predictions and try to think about how we can make the student success better based upon different factors. So I would say it can be either advanced degree where you can also advance your workplaces in your work experiences. They can go to different organizations and institutions. So those are career paths that you can think about. And I would say that at this point in the society, everybody loves to work on data analytics. Everybody, want to say that I am good with the data analysis, and knowing data analysis skills, having good content expertise, you can find the great jobs in any places, in any occasions, in any time. So I would say this is very promising in your careers.
Perfect. Thank you. And so there's actually a couple questions in the chat. That one I think applies to kind of the curriculum that you were already discussing. The other one is more about the application process. To quickly address the application question, we look at your program or your application holistically, and we're not necessarily looking at number of years of work experience. So there are other application documents that we also review that we'll cover at the end. The other question was, are there any research opportunities or projects related to AI available for students in the program, which is huge right now, obviously.
It is very huge. I don't think we're going to teach you how you can create AI algorithms. However, we will say how you can use AI using machine learning process and having Python as your data analytic, programming. You can also use AI skills to understand how the phenomenon is working. So I would say that AI application certainly can be one topic that you can work with, all the data analytics and program evaluation skills that you will be learning from this whole programs. At the end, the capstone projects will be one of them. You can also evaluate how you can use AI in the practices. So one of the example that I'm using at this point for my work is, using AI system, how I can supervise my counseling therapist to work with their patients. So for example, my students who are doing training in the counseling programs or counseling, psychology program, how they will be working with patients by looking at their interactions with the patients, and AI system will pick up the interactions my students is making with the patients, and then we can give real-time feedback back to my students who will be working with the patients. So that's one of the applications we're using in the AI system that we can also apply to psychology, sociology, or any discipline that you can work on. So that's one of the projects I'm working on at this point.
Great. And that's a great example, and a great example of how it can apply to so many different fields and areas. So thank you so much for that. Are there any kind of professional or academic backgrounds that you specifically think would be helpful for a student coming into this?
So just giving you guys my backgrounds, my bachelor degree is psychology, and no one think about me to have very much social science skill sets that I built upon before I get my degree in statistics. So my background is very much in psychology, how people are thinking, how people are perceiving it. So the one that I would say that if you're passionate about how people are thinking, how people are perceiving, how data coming from people can help understand people's behavior, attitudes, intention, I think that's the first step that you can even getting into these programs. Doesn't have to have a really heavy math skills. If you're very passionate, if you're very interested in working with the data, not afraid of the data, that's the time that you can start your programs. And I'm not going to say that you need the heavy math to come over to my programs.
Fantastic. I know that can be something that students are a little apprehensive with, so that's definitely very helpful. Let's see. There's a couple questions in the chat. Let me take a look at those really quick. Those we will address those at the end. So with another question that I have is about the faculty. And faculty interaction with students. How do faculty actually connect with students through the program? What's that interaction and support like?
So if you guys are coming into our program, you guys will be our first cohort, which means I'm going to give you guys the best interest, best attention. And not only because you guys are first cohort, my philosophy is always try to think about what the students want, not just what I think it should be for my students to follow. So for me, anytime if you are giving me any questions, if you really want to meet with me, if you want to work on any projects, I will be there to respond to you. And the issue with me, whenever you have your cell phone and having, a lot with one, that you get the email, that drives me nuts. I need to respond to you as soon as possible because I know my students are waiting to hear back from me. So for me, students is number one that I really want to interact as soon as possible. And I'm going to address as much as possible for your needs so that you can be successful throughout this program and you can go for your professional, academic, and personal endeavor that can be successful. So I would say that that's number one things our program and our program faculty members are carrying. I promise that.
Perfect. That sounds great. So with the questions in the chat, there is a question about, would you need a programming prerequisite?
So if you have it, that's great. Otherwise, we'll be working together. We're going to have fun together. And one of the programs that you guys will getting into is EPS 704, which is statistical programming in R and SAS. The other one is Introduction to Machine Learning using Python. So once you're getting into this program, we will start from foundation of how you can program R, SAS, and Python for any statistical analysis or data manipulations. So those will be the first built up classes that you will be getting familiar with computer programming. We don't need anything with the C++ or anything, but you also need to understand some syntax that you can run the statistical analysis, which we will be covering in the class of those two, which is 704 and 712.
Great, thank you. The other question from Brooke is, hi, I'm a special education teacher certified in ESE, reading literacy and elementary education. I'm really interested in transitioning into data analytics related to ed tech and education in general. Are there opportunities for applying data analytics to education?
Definitely. Anything that you're working with the data. And here data, I'm not going to say it is a number. It can be any interaction that you're having it, any data containing information, which can be eye tracking, eye contact, conversations, or perceptions, or numbers, or interview, anything that can be used as a data. And those data can be analyzed to understand any issues in education and psychology or anything. So I would say definitely that's the biggest market that you can think about, how teachers can work with the students and making our students to be successful. And what are the factors making students to be retaining in the classroom? And those are exactly the right question that you will be working with us in the program. And that will be really important issues that everybody need to even address it. So yes, definitely.
Perfect, thank you. So there's a question about career opportunities coming out of this. I know that you had kind of covered some of the career options. Michelle, we do have Topple Career Center, and we do have some conferences and career fairs through the university to assist once you've completed the program. So that is something that's definitely available. And then, so unless there are other questions in the chat, and Michelle, I'll address your final question as well. What advice would you give to prospective students to be prepared to start? If they choose to start in the fall, how can they best prepare themselves to be successful in the program?
I would say trust me and trust the program. And come to the program and follow what we are trying to go with you guys. It's not just yourself. It's not just you listening or watching the lectures. We'll be working, of course, we'll have asynchronous, but at the same, we'll have synchronous sessions. So a lot of times we will be repeating the same things over and over, and we'll be reviewing together with you guys, which means just trust to us. At the end, even though sometimes it is hard to understand, at the end, you trust yourself and you will make things at the end. And that's what I want to say it. And the other one is be curious about any phenomenon, any research questions in any fields that you are having it, and try to come up with some research question that you are caring a lot and you want to resolve the issues on. And come with that the problem that you're having it in your practices, and learning every small little skills that you're learning from us. At the end, you will know your answers, and that is the best way you can practice, and you learn from the mistakes by practicing it. So trust us and don't be afraid of this program, and just go with us, and you and I will be together, and my faculty and you will be together to go through this whole journey. So that's all I want to say.
That's a fantastic answer, and I can echo that from the support team that you'll also have. Trust us as well. We've got your back through the program from the support side as well. There's one more question about what exactly does the program evaluation title mean? I think that there's an understanding of data analytics, but what's the difference between that and the program evaluation piece?
So program evaluation can be, you can think about, you develop some intervention in organizations. You develop some of treatment for treating something that you are targeting. So whenever you are having the program that you're developing it, you always need to think about what are the deliverables you want to make it whenever you are making the programs. Program can be intervention, program can be treatment, anything that you are working with people, that those are programs. But whenever you're developing program, you will have the deliverables. And at the same time, you think about how you can assess the deliverables can be effective or not. So program evaluation is looking at whole process of developing the program and getting into what you want to get out of it and assessing the effectiveness and make the changes over into your program, which is a big cycle of development up to assessing it and scaling up of the program. So that is called the program evaluations. It can be based upon survey, it can be based upon interview and focus on, there will be mixed methods that you're using with the numbers or the conversation. And based on all of them, you can also see whether my intervention, any programs can be effective or not. Is there anything I can improve or better to make the differences in my program to get into the outcomes that I want to go with it? So that's a program evaluations.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that answer. And thank you for all of your answers and for your time this evening. Thank you all for your time. We greatly appreciate you being here. Like I said, a recording of this will be sent out. So if you'd like to revisit it, you absolutely can. We covered a lot of information. If you still have questions, our enrollment team is there to help. If you decide that you'd like to move forward with the program, our session for fall, the application items that you would need to apply are transcripts, a current resume, your personal statement, which is basically going to tell us who you are, kind of your background, why you're looking at this program, what makes you a good candidate, 2 letters of recommendation, and then also if you plan on using financial aid, you'll want to complete your FAFSA. If you have questions on financial aid, our team can help you out with that and answer any questions about that process. And then I know the last question that we had, Michelle, was how can we get the $300 application fee waived? And that's to meet the early admissions decision deadline. The deadline for early admissions for fall is Monday, July 10th. So you do have a little bit of time. Obviously, it's not a ton of time, especially with the holiday coming up. So if it is something that you'd like to do, I would definitely recommend getting started on your application or getting your application completed as soon as possible. And then if you have any questions, like I said, you can reach out to our team. You can also scan the code at the bottom to start your online application to receive that $300 deposit waiver. So thank you all so much for your time this evening. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out.